seconds.
Cool.
Should be on now.
I think it says live. Yeah.
It says live. Alex,
live.
thank you
Does that
very
mean we're
much.
live?
Alex, thank you very much for being on the show. I'm super happy to have a friend. I think I'm just like, I love to see your stories on Instagram, but the most important is that you're connecting SaaS people around the world. And welcome to Alex Theuma from SaaStock today.
Hey, thanks, Gerard, for having me back as well. I know we spoke last year on your group, so it's a pleasure to be invited and to speak to your community again.
Thank you. And there are a few other events about SaaS, but I think the reference event is becoming SaaStock. It's not just in Europe, but also in where else you have SaaStock now.
Yeah, there are other events about SaaS. No, only SaaStock, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Sorry, I wrote it wrong.
No, I'm joking. SaaStock has been going. This is our fourth year. So the SaaStock 19 in Dublin, October the 14th to 16th, will be our fourth annual conference. And actually, I think it's a really good thing to see that there are a lot of SaaS conferences now springing up. There's one happening in Central Europe in September. There's one happening in Ukraine. You know, they're happening in India, SaaS Boomi, all over the place, right? And what that is a good kind of sign that the ecosystem is really kind of growing. Because if it was just us or, kind of like one other, then maybe the market is not that great, right? But actually the market is really growing now. So there's a lot of competition, but it really is co-opetition, that we're all friends, right? But yeah, to answer your question, I mean, SaaStock, one in Dublin, this is the fourth time we're doing it, but this year we launched conferences in Latin America, in Sao Paulo, which was in April, in Hong Kong. So SaaStock Asia happened in May. And then we have two conferences in the US this year, SaaStock East Coast, which happened in New York in June. And coming up on September the 10th and 11th in San Francisco, where we're in San Francisco for the first time, with SaaStock West Coast. And that's shaping up to be a great event. So I'll be off there soon. And then obviously we have our Dublin event. And then at the end of the year, SaaStock Australasia in Sydney. So we're in 5 continents, with 6 conferences. And so we're covering the world. We're just not in Africa or Antarctica at the moment, but you can find us elsewhere.
Fuck, man. It's just amazing. It's so beautiful too. And it's funny, I obviously follow you on Instagram and how much you're traveling. It's just crazy. But how can
my Instagram's not the best. It's not the best. I need
it's good enough.
Yours is better.
No, it's good enough to see what you're doing on the beaches of Market or Greece. Also, was nice pictures from Greece. It's funny how can you do such an expansion in such a short time? Because actually, I think Latin America has really grown this past year. You're having amazing people talking there, from like bringing Aaron Ross or the guys from help me a little bit with top guys from Brazil.
We had Patrick Campbell from Profitwell was there, like Mark Organ, who's
Nathan Letka as well.
Nathan Latka. So yeah, actually, so let's say a couple of parts to your question. So with Latin America, with SaaStock Latam, that was kind of 2 years in the making, right? So whilst we launched this year, we'd been doing our homework, and I've been going to Brazil for the last 2 years. Actually, the first was the invitation from Eric Santos, who is the CEO of now unicorn Resultados Digitais.
He's such a gentleman, man. I love him.
He's amazing. Yeah.
He's such a hearted person.
Yeah, so he came to SaaStock 17, and so I met him there, and then from there we became friends. He's so humble, and he's running, a 700, 800 person company, and so like he is the guy down there, and he connected me into the ecosystem, and they ran. So he runs a conference for digital marketers in Latin America called RD Summit, which happens in November in the beautiful Florianopolis. And there's about 12,000 attendees, something like that. It's amazing. And just before that, they'd been running, or he'd been involved in the Brazil SaaS Forum. So they actually had their own, SaaS conference for their own ecosystem, but specifically just for Brazil. And it was just for one founder per company and invite only. and it was run by VCs. And I went to that and built the connections, and we ended up taking that over. And that is now SaaStock Latam. And so we actually did the groundwork, had the relationships. Eric has a lot of, there's a lot of thanks for us to give to Eric to kind of helping make it all happen, because without him probably wouldn't have happened that way. But the market in Brazil alone, it's crazy. And, the country is 158 million people. There are thousands of SaaS startups, and it's kind of, it's early stage, but there are a lot of great companies there, and Eric is leading the way. So we did our first event there, just under 400 founders and execs.
Congratulations.
And it was great. And we're going back next year, aiming for 1,000. It's tough as to logistically and operationally do run an event in Brazil, but we kind of found a way with a few hacks, a few of our own kind of hacks, but we did it. And but then, you're right. Then we've gone, from one conference to 6 conferences this year. Arguably, we could say maybe that was too much expansion, in 1 year. You've seen it before in startups where they expand too quickly, right? And it can kill them. And actually, I've even seen, or I read a post about Slush, which is, amazing tech conference in Helsinki, and how they tried to expand, globally, and it nearly killed them, right? So you have to be careful. But the way we kind of go about it is really work within our means, right? So we're really kind of, whilst the Dublin event, we throw a lot of budget behind it, and it looks great, and it has all these different side events and everything happening, and I
want to talk a little bit more about the SaaS Society and everything you've done doing before and after, because this is so important. Because last time I got there, it's like, what the fuck? What's the SaaS Society, man? I want to be there. I want to be there.
So we'll get to that. But effectively, we kind of look at the budget. We try and spend, as little as possible for the first event. And we say, look, even if we think we can probably get 500, 600, let's just aim for 200 and test the water. So we don't overextend ourselves. And it's still a lot of work, but it means that, even if it has been challenging, and, I think actually all events were profitable, but some only just. But we work within our means and didn't go crazy. So it's still a lot of work for the team, though.
I think you have a beautiful strategy, because here in Barcelona you have Peter, I think, is doing the SaaStock Barcelona, and I think you kind of test with guys around, and if something is blooming, you go and expand there.
Exactly. And that's something, that's SaaStock Local, which we launched this year, which is these locally branded, empowered SaaStock sort of meetups, and we find those local, SaaS fans, geeks, evangelists like Peter Loving, in Barcelona, that's running also the SaaS Founders and Execs Facebook group, and somebody that's really passionate, that's come to SaaStock, that knows a lot about us, that can really bring together an ecosystem, in cities like Barcelona, and we're now in 20 cities around the world with SaaStock Local, and we hope to grow that to north of 100, in the kind of next 2 years.
This sounds amazing, and I think it's such a beautiful way of expanding and letting your brand know, because now you're super well known just for years. Some other companies, they've been trying to do it so many years, but you guys in 4 years, it's just amazing. Okay, let's say, who is the event for? Obviously, it's SaaS. Tell me a little bit more what's going on. I can tell it, but you go for it, man.
There's a lot going on, I'll tell you that for sure. So SaaStock, we're talking about, it's relevant to all SaaStock conferences, but let's specifically talk about SaaStock 19 in Dublin, which is the big annual global conference, right? So this is, SaaStock 19 is taking place at the RDS in Dublin and various cities across Dublin from the 14th of October to the 16th, or the 17th if you're going to SaaS Society as well, which we'll come to. It's the secret event. During SaaStock, whilst it's one conference, there are actually 5 different conferences almost kind of happening, in one. That we curate, that we call the SaaStock experience. So it's for SaaS companies, SaaS startups. Within that, breaking it down, founders of SaaS companies, C-level executives, VPs, and their teams, and VCs that are looking to invest in pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B, sometimes Series C companies. So we're expecting 4,000 attendees this year in Dublin. Mm-hmm. We already have, I think, attendees from 48 different countries coming. So it's our most global event, and so pretty much everybody that is running a SaaS startup will be there from across the globe. So it's a really great few days or week even for you to come together if you're running a SaaS startup, to come and bring your team and just to meet your peers, your fellow SaaS founders that are growing a SaaS business, that are going through the same challenges that you, or maybe they're a little bit further ahead. People like, our friend David Darmanin from Hotjar, somebody that has rapidly grown a company, to probably north of 20 million ARR, sort of like now. But, he's been there, for the last kind of few years. And it's just somebody that you can just, chat to in the corridor and say, like, how do you do it, Dave? What are you, how do you build a remote company and, to go to 100 people in such a short space of time? And everybody in SaaS is just so open that they'll just have those conversations. But this is the opportunity where you can have those conversations face to face and not just over email and say, hey, I admire your business. Can you tell me, can I learn from you? Can you be my mentor or whatever? So it's the opportunity where everybody can come together and talk to everybody for a few days. And
I love what you say, Alex, and it's something that it's something that you cannot show the value that you get with SaaStock. I remember I spoke with the guy of Hotjar. I had an amazing meeting with Stelly FT, which I would have never had. I had beer with some amazing top guys. It's like you really build relationship. The event is on the perfect size. It's not like fucking Web Summit, like you don't meet anyone and it's millions of people. It's just the correct people is going, the correct size. And I think it's what you're doing is just beautiful,
Yeah, everybody, as you said, it's a good size, and because it's so focused, like your experience, you can turn to the right and you've got Stelly FD, you turn to the left, you've got David Darman, and you can look in front, I've got Gerard from FindThatLead, right?
Oh, thank you, man. I got Alex as well.
And everybody's kind of relevant, right? So, whereas, as you said, like Web Summit is a great event, and, I go there, but, turn to left, turn to right, look in front, and you might not find anybody that is kind of relevant to you, and you have to really, so much harder to kind of find the relevancy, but here, everybody kind of will have an impact, and everybody's kind of so friendly. So like they'll talk to you and hopefully become friends like long after. So that's who should come. And these are the type of people that are attending SaaStock and will be attending SaaStock again this year, sort of year after year. And in terms of the different events and sort of breaking it down, effectively at a simple level, what we do is provide the right people. So it's all about the people, right? So we've discussed that, right? You'll meet the right people that are either at your level or just a little bit, kind of one step ahead, and they'll talk to you and you can learn from them. We put on, a ton of content. We're going to have 150 speakers this year, and again, it's not just unicorns, right? It's not just billion-dollar founders that say, hey, look, we've got to 5 billion and, kind of like, this is how we did it. And most of the audience will never get to 1 billion or 5 billion. And again, no disrespect, most of them don't want to, right? So it's actually, we're putting in speakers there that maybe they're only at 500K ARR, maybe they're at 1 million, maybe they're at 10 million, maybe they're at 20 million, right? But actually kind of recognizing that most of the content there is kind of geared towards, where the audience is and helping them just get that, little bit further. So 150 speakers across 4 different stages: traction, growth, scale. That takes place over the 2 main days of the SaaStock conference at the RDS on the 15th and 16th. On the Monday, we run SaaS City. So you go to our website and you see SaaS City, what is this?
Yes. What's SaaS? Okay, let's, everyone listening, please take your time, go to SaaStock.com while Alex, oh, by the way, this is not like Alex doesn't pay me or we don't do anything. This is out of love, guys, because everyone related to SaaS, you just fucking get the plane, get the tickets. If you don't have money, go to Airbnb, whatever. Last year I went to an amazing hotel. It would cost me a fortune. You don't have to go to the hotel.
But, I bumped into you in the
hotel. Man, it was beautiful, but it was fucking expensive, man. Anyway.
It's better hotels.
Yeah. Let's go to the one, it was nearby the event. It was beautiful. Okay, SaaS Society. Is that the first?
Yeah, SaaS City.
So SaaS City. Okay, let's
SaaS City. SaaS City is the first.
What's SaaS City?
Yeah, so effectively, it's like a one-day accelerator for your SaaS. It was kind of inspired a little bit by, South by Southwest for SaaS, in that it doesn't take place.
Who is giving it? I think last year, was it Alex Theuma? Was it someone else?
There are a whole bunch of mentors. So effectively, we're running 15 workshops and boot camps across Dublin. So you get to see a bit of Dublin. It's not just stuck in the hotel or the conference center, but you get to go into a workshop, like deep dive, with some proper experts, some mentors, like in the CEO boot camp, for instance. We've got John Thompson, who's sort of returning. He's founded 2 SaaS companies, exited them. He's now a coach to SaaS founders, right? And he's somebody that can, provide, sort of advice to those younger founders out there, and even older ones that are kind of, at the kind of first time sort of level. And people like Adam Hale, who was the CEO of Sage People, and is now again advising, founders. So we look for people that can really kind of, go deep, that have a lot of experience. Guillaume Caban, who used to be the head of growth at Drift and Segment, he's coming back, and he's now his company is Growth Ex Machina. But he's a king of growth hacks. So and maybe you're the prince. But he is he's going to be there. So we get these specialists. They come in, they fly in from across the world, and they go deep for an hour and a half each, right? Whereas when they speak on stage, they're giving you 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes of keynotes, which are, practical and actionable. You'll learn, you'll be able to take notes, take away. But in the workshops, you get an hour and a half, with these people, and it's more interactive, but much more kind of classroom style. Aaron Ross is running a whole boot camp, right? So I think it's on Inside Sales, but I might be wrong. But that'd be pretty cool. Aaron Ross is running a workshop for 30 people. If you're not signed up for that, it's something that's worth the ticket alone. I would say. So that's cool. So that's what SaaS City is, but from the education part. But then, the experience, the fun, the magic of SaaStock, it doesn't just stop, with the kind of the workshops and the talks. It rolls on through the afternoon, into the night. So we do pub crawls on the Monday. Dublin is a beautiful city. I hope you liked it. Gerard, and I absolutely love it, and I'm a big fan of Guinness and just the beauty of Dublin and the Irish people. I'm not Irish myself, I have to say, but with the pub crawls are great. So we run a whole bunch of those, and so you get to, let's say if you're coming on your own or just with your co-founder, after the workshops, you get to go with a kind of smallish group, of 20 founders and execs, and go to various different beautiful Dublin pubs to get your Guinness or your beers, and that's the first kind of opportunity to really kind of meet people, and this is like an icebreaker, and we hope to forge relationships kind of during that point. After that, we have a big welcome party for everybody, which is pretty legendary. And effectively, that is the Monday. That is SaaS City, right? So that day alone is probably worth it. But that and again, it's different from the next 2 days, which are much more I hate to use the word kind of traditional, but it's it's expo, it's conference, but it's all really kind of focused on how do you build, grow, and scale your SaaS company. So we moved from SaaS City to SaaStock, and then again in the evening, there's lots of dinners and parties happening across Dublin, lots of deals getting done. If you're looking to raise capital, so you either be a bootstrap founder or somebody that's looking for, or is already on the venture path, we're going to have 400 investors there. from, again, like across the world. So investors from the US, investors from Europe, from Latin America, that are looking to kind of, meet some super cool companies, and they'll just be going through, a whole bunch of meetings, back to back, sort of all day. And a number of companies, a large number of companies have raised funding, on the back of SaaStock, right? So we've got a lot of case studies around that. So even if you just want to come to, try and raise venture capital, meet that VC that you haven't yet met, this is
I think having the time to meet Girish from Freshworks or the guys from Scale Venture, it's just, even Aaron Ross one-to-one. Everyone in SaaS have read a book of Aaron Ross, and if you haven't, you should anyway. He's been on the show as well. But there's top guys like, also, I don't know if Nathan is coming this year, or Eric Sue. And Nathan is just, I remember like the speech he did, it's just like fucking amazing, and what is bombs of value in there, and having the time just like to have a coffee with Nathan is just worth all the time. You're never going to have a time with Nathan having a coffee, explaining him. And I remember telling, it's like, come on, Nathan, you always just count about the numbers. What about the love of the companies? What about the fucking GDP of happiness? It's like, what are you talking about? Are you I remember, like, all right. So, before we start, Alex, this year, I'm going to be sending one to you. This is I don't know if you put it in your house or wherever.
I'll put it in my office.
Yes, put it in your. We're going to send one of those to Mona Lisa with the head, just to share a little bit of love, just to show you how much appreciation we send. It's a full canvas, man. It's kind of pretty amazing. Anyway, we'll hopefully next week you'll have it there. Okay, we got the SaaStock. What's SaaS Society? Because I remember last year, it's like, are you staying for SaaS Society? It's like, what the fuck is that?
SaaS Society, in the first, like, we've done this since the beginning. Effectively, it's a founder's retreat. It was a bit of a secret in the first year. Like, we didn't really kind of advertise it, publish it. But we did a great event with about 70 founders, in the first year, and it happened after the conference finished, and we took the founders to a whiskey distillery, and we had an event there, some whiskey tasting, some content, and getting the peers together. And it was people like Peter Coppinger from Teamwork, Patrick Campbell from Profitwell, Peter from Segment was there. This was in the first year. Last year, Eric Sue attended, Nathan attended. But effectively, like, you can go to the website, go to either SaaSsociety.com or go onto the website and look for SaaS Society. But it's a founders retreat. The criteria is that we're trying to get these peers together that you're over 3 million in ARR. And so that's the one thing that we kind of look for. But this year it's at the Powers Court Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel in Wicklow in Dublin. So there's 2 nights of accommodation. We bus all the founders together, like on the Wednesday sort of evening, down to the hotel. We have a nice kind of, dinner, some traditional kind of Irish music, some drinks into the evening. Then the next day we do like a bunch of activities. There's going to be, I think, like off-road driving, fly fishing, clay pigeon shooting, whiskey tasting, golf, and whatnot, right? So it's getting the founders out of the office to kind of, step away and stop thinking about necessarily like all the problems of just the day-to-day running the business. And then you can
have relationships, isn't it?
Then but you can just then have a conversation with, like, hey, Patrick Campbell, like, do you have like people issues, or how do you manage this, or this type of thing, right? And then building the relationships as well. So there's a lot of, it's a hard job being a founder, right? And this is the great opportunity for all the founders and the peers to kind of get together and just kind of, chew the fat, talk about, some of the problems that they have, and have a lot of fun and build relationships and, bonds with each other. We do some roundtable stuff in the Thursday afternoon, a big gala dinner, on the Thursday night, and more drinks and fun. And then Friday wraps up and everybody flies home. So it's a pretty cool event. And most people that attend that event say, this is the best part of SaaStock, for me, right? I think Eric Sue said to me, Alex, you could charge like 25 grand a ticket for this, and it'd be worth it, right? But we don't. But it was kind of interesting to kind of get the feedback on that. But so it is a little bit more exclusive. We limit it to 70. I think there's like 25 spaces kind of left. We've got like the founders of Paddle coming. I think we've got actually I can't even remember the names, but like we mentioned, who's sort of coming last year. It's up on the website, but it's a good smaller event. It's a founders retreat.
I think it sounds beautiful, and probably the guys from Type 4 maybe should be going there, or other guys like. I think it's something amazing. Okay, tell me about the last step. Just what's the scholarship for everyone who is just on the beginning? I think it's you talk to the top guys who are making like 20 million a year. Great. What about the guys who are starting, who might in the next 4 years might be doing that?
It's super important. I'm glad you're asking the questions, because I can't always remember everything about what happens at SaaStock.
I don't know if you want to keep it secret, man, because it's kind of like
no. So yeah. One of the important things that we launched this last year is our startup program. And there's the startup program, there's the startup scholarship, and there's the pitch competition, right? So the startup program, this is aimed really kind of, at companies that are less than $1 million in revenue. We get about 150 of them together, and we do masterclasses with, some great mentors. So I think, again, like this year, people like Dan Martell is, one of
Martell is amazing. He's just giving so much quality content.
Yeah, I think maybe like Jacco van der Koe from Winning by Design, some others, but effectively like, masters of, of SaaS, right? Bringing them together, bring them to these early stage founders and just kind of, talk to them about, like, again, this particular stage of their business and where they're at. There's pitch coaching, there's mentorship, there's introductions to VCs. Then there's exhibiting at the conference itself. So you get your kind of your startup booths, which are, at attraction, sort of growth or rise kind of level. So they get a bit of exposure, but to a kind of relevant audience. And then those that are in the startup program can then be a part of the pitch competition. So we have a global pitch competition where we look for the best SaaS startup of of the particular year. So this year, 2019. Last year, the winner was a company called Cladaro, a Spanish lady founded that, but she's based in London. And, she won the competition. And since then, she's gone on for, sort of great things. There's happens to be, I think the title itself is quite a good accolade that is on the, it's on the website of Cladaro. We won the best SaaS startup of 2018, at SaaStock. And the prize money of $25,000, is also fairly kind of useful. And then the connections, I think there was like one of the VCs that was kind of, involved in the startup competition, is now potentially kind of, investing in Cladaro, right? So it's a good opportunity. So, to be a part of the global pitch competition, you need to be a part of our startup program. But it is something else that we kind of run, for these kind of earlier stage SaaS companies. And often then there are a lot of SaaS companies that, quite rightly, because they're like less than 6 months old or less than a year old, they don't have a lot of cash, right? So to buy a ticket to SaaStock, which is like 800 euros, to fly over to Ireland. I mean, you can get a cheap flight with Ryanair or EasyJet, but then you have to pay for your hotel, and then you've got time away for office. A lot of these kind of 6-month-old or like pre-revenue companies, it's something that they shouldn't really be spending money on, right? So we have a scholarship that if you're at that stage, you can actually apply, and then you can come to SaaStock for free, right? And we will pay for you or for your ticket, right? We won't pay for your flights or accommodation, but hopefully people can work that out and find out some hacks where they can sleep on somebody's sofa. Again, so people can go to SaaStock Scholarship and apply, for those free tickets to come to the event, because actually, like, we get it if you can't necessarily afford to buy the ticket and we want you to save your money, but there's so much value that's happening, value creation at SaaStock, it really should help your business, like, to be there. So even if you're early stage, we hope that you apply and you come.
I'm sure some people in the group will be happy to apply, but it's just not that and it's kind of like, it sounds a big promotion, but you have the guys from G2 or the guys from Profitwell or Amazon, they're going to be giving you some extra just for being there. Is that correct, Alex?
Yeah. I love it. You've done your homework. So like our partners, so we partner with the likes of, as you said, like Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services, G2, Profitwell, Stripe, etc. Right? Freshworks and many others. So from the big names to maybe even some kind of lesser names, but some great products. And a lot of our partners, they're going to be giving away their like platforms and their services to those that are in the startup program. So like you can come to SaaStock with as you say, whether you've got a free ticket via scholarship if you qualify, or you paid 800 euros and you might end up sort of going home with 100K's worth of software, right? So again, sort of like pretty compelling. So yeah, I mean, like it's another kind of value add, right?
I love it, man. I just think the bombs have been dropped. I think if anyone listening, please just go book your fucking ticket from the 14th, 15th, and 16th to SaaStock, and that's it. That's it, man. I mean, if you want to be in SaaS, if you are in SaaS, MRRs, UX, whatever, man, just take the plane and come, because I think it's worth it, all the money.
Yeah. And I want to give a little present to your community as well, that if they use the code FindThatLead25 at checkout, they'll get a 25% discount on their tickets. So FindThatLead25 at checkout for SaaStock 19, 25% discount to your community.
Thank you very much. And just to let you know, everyone listening, we don't do any share fucking revenue or anything. This is done out of love, and I never ask anything from the guys. And anything it's built, it's just for everyone listening, which I think is super important.
Yeah, no. Well, I appreciate the love and the opportunity, and pints of Guinness on me in Dublin.
Alex, thank you very much. We're super happy. We're certainly going to be there 14th, 15th, and 16th. And let's see if we can keep growing with you guys. It's been a pleasure. And thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you. Look forward to my painting and see you in Dublin.
Yes, we certainly next week you have it there on your office.
Awesome, man.
All right, Alex. Thank you very much. Best wishes. See you soon.
Cheers, guys.